you in so much hurry? Is it really worth the worry? Look around, then slow down. What's it like inside?
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, welcome to GB Network. I'm Des Lujan, coming to you live from Cliff Point Building at GB Headquarters, 304 West O'Brien Drive in Gutierez. It is a rainy Thursday, Friday Eve, but you know what? That's all right because we're still in paradise. Beautiful despite a rainy day. Still beautiful. We are in paradise. We are in Guam, USA. Hungan Magahid. It is Thursday, the 2nd day of August, 2018. Dos na dia, Agosto 2018. Thank you again for joining us this Thursday morning. Chime in wherever you're listening or viewing us from. Please tell us where you're viewing us from. We have a very exciting show this morning to bring to you. We have none other than Governor Gutierez being my guest this morning. So again, give you time to get the message out to your friends and relatives to chime on in while the governor prepares. He's busy talking to some constituents at this point, but he'll be coming in to join us this morning. We haven't, I know you have not heard from him in a while. You're actually in the GB Network. He's always out there with you folks anyway, but it's been a little bit since the governor had appeared on the GB Network. But today, this morning, Thursday, the 2nd of August, he'll be with me this Thursday, rainy Thursday morning. So again, share this page with your friends and relatives, have them chime in, have them, again, whatever questions and or comment you may have for Governor Gutierrez, please have that ready and chime in with us. It is, again, Thursday, 23 days and counting, 23 days and counting till the primary election. Remember, again, if you need to register, you have today and tomorrow, the end of day tomorrow, to be able to come to our headquarters to get people registered to vote. Otherwise, you're going to have to go after tomorrow, end of day tomorrow, 5 o'clock. You'll have to go to your mayor's office or the Guam Election Commission to be able to register, okay? And then last day to register will be the 15th of August to be able to vote on the primary election. We got a lot of folks chiming in already, and we'll get shout out in a second here. And of course, that is help is on his way. But while we warm you up with help is on his way, let's get you jumping with this. Rich has joined us. Joe Tidingwee, God's Country. Linda Titan Radius. Good morning, Linda. How you doing? Go. Joe Tidingwee. Buenas, Governor Gutierrez and the Buzz. Yolanda Berdallo. Charlene Mayo. Good morning. And Juanita Macy. Hey, my wife has joined us this morning as well. Hi, good morning, baby. I haven't spoken to you yet this morning, but thank you. Love you. Yeah. Hey, look who's walking in. Wow, look at this. Ooh, look at there, And I'm the one wearing the yellow. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, help is on its way, and you are still the one. You've been the only one, and will continue to be the only one. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Governor Gutierrez is my studio guest this morning. But, Gov, people are still standing up and dancing. Huh? They're standing up and dancing right now.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. 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 Thank you very much again for being with us this rainy Thursday morning. I'm in studio here with, of course, Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez. It is the second day of August 2018. Good morning, Governor. How are you doing?
Well, good morning. Nanas Jews, time to todos gitu. Thank you for inviting me.
Governor, it's always a pleasure, and I know the folks have been asking, when are you going to appear again? I said, as soon as we are able to free him up from his schedule, because I think your day starts out about 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, we wanted to start early today, but people are still giving us good information here today.
That's right,
meeting with people that know financial numbers and people that audit the government, and they're giving us information about how to make things work when we get inaugurated, or even in the transition period between November and January.
And just so you know, again, as we speak here, and as the governor said, on a daily basis, we meet with folks that, again, and it's not the interview process already, but people are coming, offering their services already for
not being paid,
not being paid, and giving us and their expertise again, coming in and saying, hey, look these are the aspects of government that we know of. How can you use me? How can you use me in this? And basically almost on a daily basis, we've done that. So as the governor goes out there and speaks with people as well, we have folks that come in. How can we help you, Governor, put this government back together again?
Well, what made me really feel good is the kind of people that are coming in, because these are the people that are experienced in running finances, especially for the government, and has come to realize that although they are Republicans, they've realized that they're going to put their label aside for this time, because they said that they really need an experienced person in here, because the government right now, the finances it's in the tank. And they said that, Governor, if I, as a Republican, you're the man that really can do this. You've got the experience, and I also have the experience to help you out. We know the numbers, we know how to do it. I said that's what we did in 1995. We called the business community, and Republicans, most of them they helped us because they know what to do. I'm not going to hire a bunch of novices because you voted for me. I'm going to hire you to do accounting when you don't know accounting. But these guys are going to be there, and he's not offering to be paid. He's just offering for us to be able to take his expertise, because he knows the numbers, and he's not like just BSing us. He is indeed a well entrenched person in government finances. So I'm just elated that they're coming in right now, because I'm not trying to be vanidoso, right? But they're also thinking that the word out there in the community is that they need somebody experienced, and forget about the party labels. Yes, I'm labeled a Democrat, but the Republicans that the Republicans have been voting for are the ones that are taxing us to death and spending all our money without, to no end.
Sure. One of the things I know in the meeting he was saying to us is that, a lot of the folks out there, of course, they tend to their lives on a daily basis. They got to work, they got to pay their bills, their mortgages, and things like that. And he says, the people out there already are so confused on the numbers being touted. The administration says one thing, everything is fine, everything is good and dandy. They meet with the legislature, it's very grim. We have increases in taxes and fees and things of that nature. People don't know anymore. I mean, there's so many things in regards to where the finances are. In one hand, the administration said everything is great. The legislature says it really isn't. Taxes are imposed upon us, fees, everything is going up around us. How can you equate this? What can you say about our finances, Governor, and that basically kind of reflects those of what we deal with on a daily basis in our own household?
Yeah, like he said, that if you have a mortgage to pay, and if you don't pay it for a month or two, you're going to have to end up paying it. Otherwise, they're going to foreclose on you. And he said that the way this government has been running is that they don't pay the mortgage for 2 or 3 months or 3 payments, and they forget about it. But you can't do that in your daily lives. But it's going to catch up with us, is what he's saying. He says they're fudging with the numbers. They're not telling you the people the real truth about our financial situation. They're just giving us all this, just like you at your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell your wife, oh, don't worry, because one of this year I want to sell my ranch and I'm going to pay the bills. It ain't going to come, right? So this guy is warning us that we've got to think outside the box. And he said it's not time for anybody. Now's the time for the experienced people. When I was at the Chamber of Commerce debate, as you look at people that are commenting, right? Of course, they're probably the opposition of Gutierez Bordallo that were writing it and saying, stop telling the people what you did when you were governor. I said, well, I came to the Chamber of Commerce to be interviewed for a job. And that's what you're looking for, a governor of Guam. And I'm telling you my experience. And if you want to, hire me because I've experienced, when I was governor, the same situation we faced in 1995, we're facing now, and even worse. We had a plan of action that worked when we dealt with the business community. And I said, I'm here telling you what I'm able to do. So you're interviewing me for the job. If you want to hear the other candidates telling you all these platitudes, I'll get in there and I'm going to audit everybody's jobs, a desk audit to see if the job you're doing is you're fitted for that job. By the time you get done with 11,000 desk audits, that's not being a leader.
Sure.
You got to think outside and think overall arching over this island and how to make it work in our economy. Because right now it's not sustainable. And even when you do that, you cannot also harm the very special nature of our Chamorro people here on this island. That's why I say the theme is make Guam again. Because we have lost the soul. And if there's anything that at my age could live through these processes, I still have the soul of Guam. That's why I'm here fighting to run for governor again. Because from my inner self, I want to bring back the real Guam that I remembered and grew up in. We're losing that. We're losing this Napamolik spirit. And I don't want that to continue. And that's why I'm putting myself out with my family. Fred Bordallo joined me to bring this concept back, because very important, Jesse. Now you can make the most vibrant economy here on Guam, but if you change the whole landscape and the specialness of Guam, and it's not Guam anymore, you're going to look like Tokyo, or you're going to look like Hong Kong. That's not what we're looking for. We still have to have time with our families and enjoy the ocean, enjoy the beaches, enjoy the jungle, enjoy the ranch. But bring down the cost of living here, because it just keeps exponentially moving up and up and up because of poor planning by administrations that came after me. I'm sorry, but that was the way it is. There was no vision. No vision ever put forth. And I want to say that if there's no vision, like the Bible says in Proverbs, the people perish.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that the vision only doesn't come from me. I have my basic vision, but I bring the community together, and we forge the vision together. This is how we want Guam to proceed, so that you know where you're going when I say follow me.
Gov, I walked into a conversation of yours this past Sunday up in Arahan when we had a gathering up in Arahan. I want to conversate with you, with an individual family who basically, as you said, you want to make Guam again. But they were talking, and I walk right in the middle of the conversation where he said they're seriously contemplating on moving abroad back to the States because of the situation here in Guam. It's just they're in a fixed income. They're a tax base. They're taxpayers basically here, but seriously considering renting or not selling their properties or their home to move back to Guam. And you're saying, can you wait?
Yeah.
Can you wait a few months?
Yeah.
But you're hearing more of that, right?
Yes, that's what's scaring me. I mean, the people, Guam's landscape is not the same as I remembered it. I mean, just a couple of decades ago, those people are gone. The really special people of Guam is not here. They've uplifted their family and moved their roots off island, but they're also longing to come back. I get all kinds of messages from Texas to Washington to Oregon, that they in California that they want to see Guam recover itself, but make it the way that we remember it, make it the way that it was before we had to pack up and leave. We want to come back to the real Guam that we remember and we recall. As a matter of fact, my family's bones are there in the on buried there in Guam, and we are Tautotano. We are the people of the land, and that's why I said that if I die, I want my bones buried here in Guam. I don't want anywhere, because this is the soul of Guam, and I'm going to try to do my best with Jerry Gutierrez and Fred Bordalio and Lily to bring that specialness back to Guam, bring the soul, a spiritun chamorro tapti, because that's how and why so many people come here, not just because we had nice beaches. They came here because the Chamorro people were very, very hospitable, very loving, and very welcoming, and we love peace, and we work together, and that's why. But if you change that completely, nobody wants to come to Guam anymore, except the business people and the tourists.
Sure. Well, one of the things, Gov, that was discussed this morning as well, but also in regards to attracting day one or day two of the Gutierrez Bordalio administration, of course, money is always an issue. You've touted basically and a campaign trail in regards to how and what areas you're looking at to again to push forward what we already have here infrastructure wise, to be able to entice companies to come into to Guam and to prosper here and maybe hub out here, because they're gonna say, well Gov, based on what we have, how are you going to entice people to come here? I mean, matter of fact, some of the things that have been talked about at this point in the tourism industry, you have the I think GHRA and GVB saying you increase room taxes and all that, you're going to be non-competitive. Jimmy Espaldon come out there and says, hey, I've met with a few of the hoteliers already. They're saying we're prepared to go up a certain percentage and all this, but it's not a new industry. It's an industry that has been growing, and we want to have that industry keep growing. You were involved, of course, back then in the getting GTA to the point where it still be profitable in regards to selling that and to privatize that. And as a result, over the years, we've got these fiber optics that have come to Guam there. And it's not necessarily for government of Guam, mostly for the military, but your idea in that is that we can utilize that and hub out here for a lot of companies.
Exactly. And you hit the nail right on the head. And I talk about the vision also, right? So when I came in the first time in 1995, we had an idea of where Madeline and I had an idea where we want Guam to go, but we wanted the entire community to help forge that vision and bring in the business community, the clergy, the mayors, the grassroots, the educators, and we all, and the hospitals, the nurses, the doctors. And we say, what do we want Guam to be here in the next 8 years? And we put that thing together. One of the concepts about attracting more businesses to Guam to provide more jobs and to provide even more investment on Guam was to market Guam as America in Asia. We are the farthest west of the United States of America, but we are in Asia. We're closer to Taiwan, 3 hours, Japan, 3 hours, Hong Kong, China, Philippines, Australia only 4 hours away. And so that we're that epicenter, and that's in this area that we are America, but in an Asian economy. So I'm saying, let's make Guam, an Asian tiger with American stripes. And that was the concept that we're trying to do. We started to make sure that we entice people like Tyco to come in and put fiber optics here. We have more fiber optics coming in and leaving Guam than any place in the world per capita. And GTA right now has a consortium of 5 companies putting $50 million each to add additional cables. And I'm sure that most of that is probably for the military and their secret deal, but we can tap into that because they're big trunk lines, the way that the technology is now. But the one thing that, because we have that infrastructure in place, it hasn't been utilized as much with moving the vision of America in Asia forward over the last couple of decades. But I'm going to bring that thing back. It was just too bad that I left. I'm going to bring that thing back. And what Trump did in the United States of America in cutting down the taxes, it helped all the people, rank and file, the middle income people. But most importantly, he helped the businesses that are warehousing their monies outside of the United States because the taxes was too high to repatriate those funds back into the United States. I think it was 35% at that time. He wanted it down at 15. They compromised at 21. But even at 21, okay, Guam is the only place in the entire United States, not any state, not any other territory. We're the only one that can rebate federal taxes. And the federal government has been trying to get out of stopping us from doing that, but they lost it every turn up to the Ninth Circuit Court. So we have that in place because you know why we have that? It was Frank D. Paris in 1968.
Paris brothers, the
Paris brothers. Yeah, he's senator. Now they call him senator. I think congressman at the time. He put together this qualifying certificate at GIDA that anybody that wants to come in to Guam and put up a business like hotels, airlines, will give you a qualifying certificate where you don't pay corporate taxes and certain other taxes that we control. And if people don't remember your history, I do. The Organic Act was passed in 1950. In the Organic Act, and the last page on the bottom, it says, any laws that the legislature and the governor passes here on Guam and puts into the books, the Congress of the United States has 1 year to veto and throw that law out because they don't like it. They've done it with some laws, but on this one particular one, they were asleep at the switch. The 1 year went by. So in essence, it became default federal law. So we're the only one. So we don't want to throw that away. So the federal government has been trying, how can we trick these guys for us to take that away, because we cannot have that, but we cannot easily take it away easily. So they said, okay, we're going to give you an authority to delink with the U.S. tax code. And then somebody here says, yeah, let's delink. Let's have our own tax code. I said, slow down. You know why they're doing that? It's because once you delink, that number one tool that we have to invite investment here. So I'm saying that with that in hand, I can say to those, I think $3 trillion that those corporations have warehouse in Hong Kong, in Bermuda, in the Cayman Islands, and they said, bring it back to the United States. It's coming back at only 21% to be taxed, but you bring it here to Guam, bring it into our banks, warehouse it here, and we'll give you 1% extra or 2% or 5%.
As a matter of fact, that's already a law. It passed by. It was a law that was written by Senator Mike.
Yeah,
Nicholas.
Yeah, I didn't realize it already passed, but I don't know what the percentage was with it. But we need the tool to go market.
Sure.
I mean, it's easy for us to talk about it amongst ourselves. We're the only one hearing it, but I don't see anybody here going out to Trump and sitting down with Trump and say, Trump, we love what you did. Can you please help us market and tell the people, stand up on Fox News and tell the people you've got a territory in Guam, bring your money there, store it, warehouse it there. We would be replete with cash. Interest rates will go down. All the banks would be filled if they don't pass another law that says only the Bank of Guam can have it, because they do that in the past. I say every bank that's here should benefit from it. That's why they're very particular. When you people start electing governor, I warn the business community, be careful who you elect. Do not elect conflicted people that have the biggest businesses on the island and still be governor. You've seen what happened in the past. You be very careful, because they will get conflicted. They'll say, oh no, because if it has to do with the bank, I'm going to recuse myself. I'm going to go off island and let my lieutenant governor sign it. I mean, that's crazy. Really crazy, and that's what's been happening, Ray. Jess. So I'm saying to you, people of Guam, adahi, because I'm saying that Fred and I our only business is the people of Guam. I don't have any business. I'm not conflicted, never. So everything I do is what's best for our island, what's best for the soul of our island. I'm not going to be thinking, if I sign this into law, is it going to hurt my bank? That you can't have that, because it happened. I'm forewarning you. Be careful.
Gov, as we're in the midst now, of course, the legislature in session, they're debating. I think the 5% BPT is going to be with us at least for
1 year.
Yeah, in your term. When you go in,
for 9 months.
For 9 months,
9 months.
And so that being said, now when I'm listening to the going back and forth between the governor's office and the legislature. I mean, I receive a text almost every day. We're 14 days, and from the governor's office and the legislature is continuing to again to take us down this bad road, basically financial situation. But it seems to be like the only way out of this right now between both sides. One says we need to increase taxes and fees and all that. The legislature says no, basically. So it's that back and forth. There's no happy medium in that, other than the only way out of this situation, Governor, according to what we're hearing right now, is through taxing the people, basically. And it's always the people. It's always why is it always my fault?
Yeah, exactly. It always falls back to the people. But here's the situation, a lot of people, there's a couple of them, but one in particular, si Frank Agun, he's in there and he's fighting not to do this, not to do that, but it's all political rhetoric. Look at what he did in the past. When I was talking about the Rigo Neal Act, where it says that the only one that can expand here in business, back in 1997, Frank and he just became senator. I said, Frank, the federal government's allowing us to let as many banks in as possible, or we can let our banks go to the United States.
He was your director at the time, right?
No,
or before
he was 2 years before, but he ran for senator, so he was a senator.
Yeah,
and he says, "No, Gov, you're right. You know that the more banks we have here, the more money, the less the interest rate." I said, "Good." So the Bank of Guam wants me to opt out and don't do that. And I said, that's not going to be good for the people of Guam. And Frank said, I agree. I agreed. I went to Washington to meet with the governors. The Bank of Guam brought this guy from New York to try and convince me to opt out. So only the Bank of Guam can benefit with the monies here. And I said, okay, goodbye. I came back and I pushed to opt in. And when the first one to opt out, the bill that was passed was 13 yes, because there were 21 senators. Frank Agun didn't show up to vote, so his vote was not there. Then he came to me and says, don't worry, I'm still for the opt-in. A few months later, two days before the deadline, he came to my office and said, Gov, I'm sorry, but I had to vote to override you. So that's 2 days before the deadline. I said, what, Frank? He says, yeah, I'm sorry. I said, I have personal reasons. But what that did was that the Bank of Guam is the only one that really gets recognized here as the FDIC. The Bank of Hawaii, the First Hawaiian Bank, the City Bank, the Chase Manhattan, the Hong Kong Shanghai Bank. They said the law says you cannot expand yourself anymore. Whatever bank, whatever branch you have a headquarters, and whatever other branch you have, your grandfather did. That's all. You cannot expand anymore. Only the Bank of Guam can expand. And they said, well, okay, yeah, I guess that's what the law is. And then the First Hawaiian tried to put ATM machines in the malls. They said, no. ATM machine is a branch. So that's why the convenience for the people that bank in those banks cannot have an ATM anywhere else. But that's what protectionist legislation does against our people of Guam. You can brag about how you raised your assets at the Bank of Guam from half a billion to 2 billion, only because that's the only place where you can put the bond money. Only place where you can put the government of Guam money. So I'm saying to you, I'm not chiding them. That's smart business. But as a senator, as a governor, the only business you should have is the people of Guam. Don't get conflicted. It's been conflicted for the last 8 years. Don't trust me. Just look at what happened. What's happening right now. So I'm not trying to be a bad guy here and spill the beans, but it's fact. It really is fact that it's so important to go out there and vote someone that has only the people of Guam in their hearts.
Gov, of course, we hear these figures or this information going up there that there's no doubt there's going to be furloughs and when we're hearing about the furloughs, the first ones we hear again are areas such as the police department will get furloughs, the fire department, and all that. And so these are the things, again, the true essence of what government really should be about. Are the areas are critical areas that the government should be investing in or looking at and says, hey, look, we can't touch these areas, but those are the first areas to look at to be looked at to be furloughed.
Yeah, but the furlough law says that, I think that rightfully so, that if you have people at Adelup, they're the first ones to go. But remember, this furlough is probably going to start in October, or they'll probably make it start in January when they all go out. So it's not going to hit them.
Yeah.
But it's going to end up being the police, the fire, the customs, everywhere else. And it's something that these people are just trying to buy time for the next 4.5, 5 months till they get out of office. And what I'm afraid of that they're going to do also, we have about probably 70 million coming in on Section 30. Okay, Section 30 funds that's given to us just before October 1st. That money is an advance of what it would be on those taxes that's collected from the military and all that for the next year. And so when I was governor, at that time it's only 46 million. I take that and I split it down into 4 quarters. We make it work for the year.
So
that's part of our budget.
You spread it out. You spread it out.
What happened last year is they took the whole thing and paid out all the refunds, so there's no more money for the government to run. That's why we're in a situation like this. They're going to do the same thing. That's not sound management. They should have just not keep spending and spending and spending and say, okay, in the end, I'll just take this one chunk, and which is next year's money, and spend it all in 2 days in September.
Now, again, Gov, going in here, a lot of people are coming up to you. How can we help? What will the Gutierez administration look like going in day 2?
Day 2 is that I am going to call in again, as I did in 1995. Call in the community, especially at first the business community, and later on I'm going to even interact with the DOE, because they take the biggest chunk of our general fund. And sit down and plan, do a plan of action on how to extricate ourselves from this financial mess. It's bigger than what people really read out there. It's from speaking with this gentleman here this morning who knows every penny that's in this government, saying to us, Governor, it's deeper than what it is. And they're masking it. The media is not doing its job into delving into it. They're doing sensationalizing only on small issues, but not the main issues. The hospital is like going to pots, and the hospital has been begging for money, $30 million a year. They're not getting it. That's why on that first day, second day, we want me, because we're going to celebrate on the first day, right? I'm going to do an executive order, and I'm going to say the government, the Guam Memorial Hospital under the Organic Act is the governor. And I'm going to do that. And I said, I'm going to go. There's no more board there. I'm going to put a good management team there, even if they're only volunteers. The business community go in and straighten that thing out, And so also the Organic Act says that the governor of Guam is the tax commissioner. So in order for me to find out who's been telling the truth, who's lying when they finger point between the legislature and the governor's office about what our finances are. As tax commissioner, maybe for the first week before I appoint my director of revenue and taxation, because I don't have to give him the tax commissioner title. That's under me on the Organic Act. I'm going to go in there because I'll be privy to all the records in there, because they're all secret records, right? But not for the tax commissioner. I want to see what the real finances are, so that we do this for the people of Guam. It's not for the convenience of businesses. So that's what I'm going to do to ascertain what the real finances of government is. Why aren't you collecting 200 million? Are there more out there? So that when we do a plan of action, then you know what you got facing you. But right now, people ask me at the chamber, what's your plan of action to do this? I say, I don't know, because I don't know what's real. They're lying to us, they're finger pointing. And it's the honest truth. But when I know what it is, we'll solve that problem.
One of the things we talk about as well is of course the revenue that comes in, and versus we had asked the question, deficit versus surplus. Now, when there's a surplus, I think the true definition of surplus, we got extra money. There's extra money. Deficit is that's a lot. There. I don't understand, and most people don't understand, how can we have we be in a situation where we have a surplus, but we owe everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about now, the lying part.
Yeah.
And we don't know who's telling the truth.
Yeah.
And the legislature tried its best to get to the bottom of it, but they keep, they'll bring other people there, like the directors, and start yelling at them, trying to scare them away, right? All of this stuff going, and so that's what I'm going to do. Take care of that hospital first, because my healthcare is the number one priority. I'm going to put into optimum the customs and quarantine. They're 114 short of personnel. The police department. Those are the three things that I'm going to do first: health, safety, and then we'll talk to John Fernandez about education. But more important, so that that's the big overarching issue, the finance. But there's other things that sets me apart and Fred, but particularly because I know me. When I'm governor, when I was governor, I was out in the community. I even told Cecil and Jesse, we carry trash bags, and I'm going in and I'm being seen, because the cleanliness of this island is so paramount. And I'm saying that I hired people to let's say the park, and then the legislature took it away from me. Laddie Stone Park, I'm saying, wow, there's some people in welfare, there's some people that are jobless. So I said, okay, this family of 12, nobody's working, they're asking for a job. I said, no, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to take you, your family of 12, some are 6 years old, some are 10, some are 18, and the wife, and I'm going to put you at that Laddie Stone Park. I'm going to give you the lawnmower, I'm going to give you the edger, I'm going to give you fertilizer. Your job is that you adopt that as you. That's your job, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You watch it, you clean it, you make it nice. And all I'm paying that at that time for this whole family was $45,000. That's entire family, and that park is good, right? The bathrooms, I told people, your job also is to watch this bathroom for the parks and keep it clean. Even if you have to rotate at night, who's going to sleep around there so that they don't trash it? Suddenly, it made sense that I'm hiring jobless people on welfare, and making them productive and giving them some dignity. But at that time, the politics was just so hard here. Everybody wanted to be governor, and they're trying to make me fail. So I'm going to go reinstitute that again. Even the mass transit, we're spending what, $6 million? I'm guessing here, $6 million federal funds on mass transit, and those buses aren't there any on time. I said, why don't we explore? I'm going to take the $6 million and I'm going to look at all the taxi drivers, all the Ubers. And people be buying vans and become Uber drivers, right?
Yeah.
And then your clients all over the various villages. I'll set up things, and I'll bet you I'll spend less than running a mass transit. You just can't run a mass transit in Guam. Everybody wants their own car, and for those that don't have it, buses are too big, waste the space. So I'm going to be thinking outside the box. Get out of that playpen, like they said. Think outside the box, and I'm going to start thinking how to be smart about it, like giving jobs to people that are on welfare, to man the parks, to man the beaches, pick up the trash, be there if you have to, and watch the people daily, because your responsibility. What I did was from Adelup, I partitioned off 1,000 feet along the roads, and I told the people that live there, okay, in front of you here, this is your area. Please, if you want to plant flowers, do it. Okay, and make you adopt that. It's something that everybody takes responsibility and takes ownership. It's being a leader and having the vision of a very clean Guam that people come here for. Bathrooms that are clean and are open. And I want to take some of the tourist money that comes in, and not only go out and attract tourists come in. I'm going to make sure that the tourists that we attract here can go and attract more, by not going back and saying, Nana, I went to Iran and the bathroom is locked and my girlfriend is holding the blanket so I can me outside. That's what's happening.
Sure.
So that what I'm saying is that make Guam again, where we had problems before, but certainly not at this magnitude. Keeping Guam clean, making it an island community, and making the beaches clean, and patrolling it, so that all these homeless people that come here just to be homeless and cause trouble are protected and watched.
Governor, over the years, it's been a strained relationship, with the federal government. It's I don't want to get to the point and say it's been adversarial, but it certainly has not been very cordial with the federal government and the military. Um, During your administration, you worked hand in hand closely with the military. You were able to knock on doors. You were able to go to the president and knock on his door, or call him actually before you came knocking. Call, hey, I'm coming over there. How important is it again to move forward with that relationship, knowing that we're not going to go over there and say, hey, I'm not for this relationship so I can get a handout, but again, give me a little more autonomy to grow, as a territory.
That it's bringing the message face to face with the powers that be in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I did that with the Clinton Gore group of people, and all the way down to even President Bush's Howard Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not Howard, Tommy Thompson,
Thompson,
who was governor of Wisconsin. We were very, very close. He was a Republican. He became the Health and Human Services person, right? And I went there and I said, hey, Tommy, look at this. The Organic Act of Guam. It says that the governor is responsible for the health of the people of Guam, and anybody that goes to a hospital and can't pay, you got to treat anyway. And then look at here. There's the Compact of Free Association. They said they can come into Guam, go to school, to work, and they get sick. And it says here on the bottom, it says they can go to Naval Hospital. They're authorized to go to Naval Hospital. But you know what, Mr. Secretary? That's in there. But that was only a ploy by the federal government to put that in there so we can approve of the compact. But it only said they are authorized. And their answer at Naval Hospital, yeah, they're authorized, but nobody ever appropriated the funds for us to take there. So it never happened. Now I think they've removed that on the second part of the compact. But when Tommy Thompson saw that, and I said, this is a federal mandate that just didn't go out to everybody. This is unique to Guam only. You're telling us this. You didn't tell that to other states. So when you help us, you're helping us because you targeted Guam. When you tell it that way, he says, Governor, you're absolutely correct. We went into his office, private, me and him and one more person that came with me. And he says, okay, here's what we're going to do. Under my authority as secretary, I can do many things, Carl. I said, well, do it so that you can help us. We don't need legislation. You don't need legislation. Here's what I'm going to do, Carl. How big is the island? I said, well, we have the north, south, and central public health clinics. We have Guam Memorial Hospital. We're paying doctors from off island to come here and do that. We have a cap on Medicaid and all that stuff, right? And I says, well, Medicaid, I think we may have to get law on that. I said, yeah, I think so. But he says, what I can do? In the meantime, this was January of 2001. He just took office. I'm going to come and visit you in September. And then he called me back later on and said, September 17th, I'll be there. I've already gone through. I'm going to give you public health nurses, public health doctors, and to help the hospital, to help the northern clinic, central clinic, and southern clinic, and try to bring you also some cash to get started. This is my authority. I'm going to do it myself. I'll be there. And I couldn't say it was a quiet thing just between us that he's just going to come here and make a visit and do this, right? I wasn't bragging. Nobody knew about it, right? Until 9/11 hit. 6 days before he was supposed to be here. And the whole landscape of the United States stopped. And that's why we never got to realize that. But it's still there. I'm sure the plan of the secretary is still there. I'm going to go back and start that communications again. It's the way you tell the story. Talking to these people. I mean,
sure.
If you're not seasoned enough to sit there and talk to them as a gangs 101, hey, come on, Tony, so give me this thing. Because we traveled together. We went to Africa together. They gave the governors to go to Africa to check something with Desmond Tutu and Mandela and those guys. And we had that opportunity to stay together in the same room in the same hotel for a week. So we became really friends, right? But that's what it takes. It's a personal relationship that you forge where the powers that be.
And if I'm not mistaken, I some of your colleagues as governor, are still serving in administration. And matter of fact, the former governor of Iowa is Governor
Terry Branstad.
I mean, it's President Trump's ambassador to China.
Yes, and
Yep.
he served 21 years as governor. There's no limit in Iowa. So we were together. He got out in 1999, and then they wanted him back in again. And he served as lieutenant governor too. So almost 30 years as lieutenant governor and governor. But he's not even finished with his term. And when Trump came in, he said, "Yeah, we're going to send you to China. You be the." I was very happy when the text that he said he was going to be ambassador to China. I said, "Good. I'll be visiting you in January 2019 or 2019, right?"
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's some things that we can do, as Clinton did when he was helping me trying to get the Chinese tourists here. And it's just too bad for 9/11. But that's what's happening. As far as for the military, I had the best guy as my liaison in military affairs, that John O. Blas with a Z. You know, my hero. I call him my hero, and he should have gotten the Medal of Honor. But he worked with me, and not only did he work with me to take care of the local veterans and their needs, but he had that relationship between the liberators and everywhere else. He was just a loved person. He's been adopted by almost every liberator here from Guam. Darrow Doss, for example, would come here every year until he died about 4 years ago. But it was like his son, John Blas. And so that's the kind of guys that we need to. He's not doing so well right now, running around because he's still planting doni and abas. But that's the kind of person that you need to put in place, the right person that really knows the issue. The veterans have been neglected. It ain't going to happen. Fred and I are the only two veterans running as a team. And we're not like National Guard. I'm not saying anything bad, but we were enlisted. Marine guy, I'm Air Force. I was Airman First Class. It's different now. I'm senior Airman Pago. But that's what I need to do to also bring the story and the plight of our people. Can you imagine, Jesse, how many veterans are homeless?
Oh,
on the side of the street.
Yeah.
And with me, you got to give these people hope. It's got to be the Magalahi, the first lady, the lieutenant governor, the second lady. We should go out and lift them up. Not lift them up physically, but let them look into your eyes that they matter, that you're the Magalahi. These are your people. When somebody asked me at the debate at the University of Guam, are you going to protect the paharus and the wakas and the octopus and everything in the jungle? I said, no, because that's our resources. I said, well, hey, let's start with the number one resource on this island. It's our people. I got to get them out of the sleeping on the side of the streets. Little kids, women. Those are resources too before we start talking about the paharus and the binodus. So that's where our priorities come in, Jesse. Guam has just changed the landscape, and I don't like it. I don't want to die looking back down and that they see that Guam lost its soul. I want to bring that soul back and make Guam Guam again. I keep saying that because that's our essence. It's not like a promise that because I don't know about it, I'm just going to make it sound good. No, I lived it, and that's what I am.
One of the things that you said, of course, Gov, I mean, there's a constant question, of course, with health, education, and public safety. You said this is the order in which I put the tier in which is the important. You're saying health, public safety, and education. Unfortunately, with education, when you were asked, Superintendent Fernandez, when you appeared as he was a guest host, he asked you, what are you going to do for education? And you said, make me a partner.
And that's all I could. I really had to laugh at the other candidates when they were asked that at a debate. What are you going to do for education? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. They asked me, what are you going to do? I said, nothing. I'm not part of education. You asked the superintendent of education because they said the governor is out of education. And we're the only ones in the entire United States, state and territory, that the chief executive is outside of the, and it was for politics.
As a matter of fact, the superintendent is not a cabinet member.
It's not. It's strictly a politics. They take almost 60% of our budget, and there's no oversight. Except they want to go to the governor and ask for the allotment, ask for the money. But I said, John Fernandez, you're asking me what I'm going to do for education first. You want me to be a partner of education instead of just asking for the pera, for the money? And he even was taken aback with that. With that, he didn't realize that there was absolutely nothing the governor can do.
Sure.
But the others now who are not thinking, the other candidates running, they didn't even know that they had nothing to do. Instead, they have all the answers to self-education when they have no part of it. It's you need somebody in there that knows what's going on, knows the issues, knows
that was on page 5 of their notes. That's why.
They never asked that question, right? No, but I'm telling you na itanota na Jesse matugi matulay ka. Dati tinilaikan mauli na tinilaikan distroso. Ti manaa pa muli itaw to man aas manahol misaki karo atan ko hodi siya man yon na kiyaji man rarori ano everybody said lana ito sa nizong ano siya na kana todo siya karo sa molo so you cannot blame the outside people. It's the economy. It's the not watching the borders for all the drugs coming in. They're throwing packets of cocaine and ice on the reef where they're floating in because they know that this administration did not protect our borders by keeping 114 people not hired at customs. Is that intentional? I don't know. But you got to put the right people in there and the right resources. So I'm looking forward to really leading this island, not sitting back and taking the ceremonial part of being governor. Ano pa hotel, the dinner, the businessmen, no, Spirit's going to do that, by the way. We're going to barbecue because that's who I am, right?
But first and foremost, again, Gov, as you put in your priorities, health is top first and foremost for this. As governor, again, when you go in there, I don't see it between now and the first day in office, second day of office of the Gutierez administration getting any better between now and then.
All right. Yeah. But right now, right now, the governor is trying to send some resources over there to help manage it, but we don't know what the real story is too. That's why I'm talking with that person this morning. You got to know what the real story is. Or even if Peter John is telling the truth or Vince Duenas is telling the truth, the senators say you're a liar. So you get confused, right? Sure. And when you get to that kind of discourse where you're telling everybody you're a liar, I'm going to investigate you, it doesn't help. But when I'm in there, I asked the governor he declared himself as the Uganda guy said, as the head of the hospital, but he doesn't show up there.
Sure.
You got to immerse yourself. First thing I'll do is take that hospital January, and I'm going to write an executive order that this is the way I'm going to run it now, and I'm going to make it into a line agency and tell the legislature we're going to come there and we're going to ask for a full budget. We're going to ask for that $38 million. That's a shortfall for the free services they're giving. So that's once you solve that overarching problem of saying, I need 100 million, don't just give 70 and then come and ask for the 30 every other day and they say, oh, okay, we're going to tax the poker machine and give that to you, or we're going to raise this issue, right? No, we're going to say, here's your 100 million, let's go and make it work. That's a line agency. Right now they're autonomous and they can only, only operate of what they bring in, but they give out $30 million worth of services. So it cannot never work. No business on this island is going to survive if you give away 30% of your goods or your services. There's no way. And that's what's happening with the hospital. But also, I don't want any more board there or a region because one of them taking care of themselves.
Well, how do you bridge this? Because of course you have in essence basically one more hospital, which is a free hospital. In essence, basically it is. Then you have a for-profit hospital, GRMC. How do we bridge that? Because we also see now with even within some medical professionals and all that. How do we bridge the two? Because we are one people. Knowing that one is going to be existence based on this profit. Over here, the Gunmore Hospital is really a not-for-profit hospital. How do you bridge that too and say, hey, we don't have, we're not separated by an ocean where that's your people over there versus this. We have people that get sick, and if they're closer to you, you help them over there. And how do you bridge that?
Well, I've been thinking, because when I was governor in 95, I created the Council of Micronesian Chief Executives. This agency of all the presidents, the governors, of Micronesia, including Nauru, Kiribati, they're all part of this. It's an area where we have synergy. They're international, we're U.S., So how we can merge this thing together and solve our regional problems, not only in the resources of the ocean, but also in our people and how to take care of them, because they lack hospital care, and how it is that we can make sure that we bring in the people here to be taken care of. So we were all ready to start this idea. Then again left office. For example, we get all together and try to do a universal regional health insurance. I want to go to GRMC and talk to Dr. Mike Cruz. I forgot the Yonan, the girl,
Benzon.
And I'm saying, listen, I'm now the CEO of Guam Memorial Hospital. Let's figure out how we can help each other. For example, it's probably cheaper for us to have a doctor somewhere in Micronesia and nurses to take care of the people there and pay some of those forces, and then also work with the GRMC and say, okay, we're going to be there with you. We'll partner up and go there with you. And if they have to go into another referral, then we refer them to GRMC Guam instead of going to Manila and all that, right? But it's got to be somebody thinking outside the box on how to make GRMC work in coordination with Guam Memorial Hospital, where we survive, as a not-for-profit, let them survive as a profit hospital, and so that we can share our Medicare, Medicaid, whatever it is that we need to do, because they have a business model. We don't have a business model at Guam Memorial Hospital. They just have to do whatever you need to do, right? Because that's your mandate. But they have a business model, and we want to try to work that business model with them, so we make them successful, and we still take care of our people at Guam Memorial.
Gov, let's go to the message board here. We've got actually a bunch of comments, and let me see where we go here, because we got a bunch of record viewing here today, Gov. Obviously, Ernest Kanga, of course, Martin Barcinas, Bring Back the Sunshine, James Auger, please take back our island to what it was, starting from the cleanliness. Okay.
Yeah, we covered that, right?
Yeah, James Auger. Then do Alger, do what you do best, Governor, by taking care of the roots, the people that are struggling, too much poverty. Rose Uggan, Biba, Shelley Gibson is on. That's, of course, the sister of Ray from The Point, of course.
Yeah, she's clapping.
Yeah, there we go. Joe's tidy Gov. I had a strong feeling that our elected officials are fudging the numbers in accounting. It's called creative accounting. Thank you, Governor.
Joe will know that, man. That's his job. That's his line.
Yeah, looking into the true financial situation of our government. Vivencio Gimbal.
You're okay, man. One more haircut.
Paul Bloss. Oh, yeah, Paul is our guy, man. Wow, yeah. Anthony Perez just with Gov Financial on the negative. How would the new leaders lower that negative with our borrowing and balancing our financial budget? Carl is very right about who they vote for this coming election. That's the reason that the people of Guam, let me see what else, should vote for Gutierrez Medalla, because has been there, done that. He has the capability to strengthen the mess Guam is incurring in the present administration.
Anthony, I only have shorter expectation in my longevity, and I just want to immerse that, because it makes me get younger when I really get involved in trying to do something right. I just want for my grandkids and my children and the people of Guam to get that Guam back the way it was, and I'm gonna work hard day in and day out to figure out how to make it work for our people. And I'm not going to do the ceremonial part of being governor. Benidorm was a governor. No, I'm going to work hard as I did last time and solve the situation, because if you don't, and I am just pledging that I have no other business, Fred has no other business except the people of Guam and our commitment. I don't want to be distracted by having a business on the side and I get conflicted. And that's why I said, you look at all the candidates and see who really is going to be 100% for the people of Guam without a side distraction of conflict, because you have a big business.
Governor, you feel any younger or getting younger, you won't have us go to sleep at night.
Just really, I'm telling you, when my family was discussing this idea since 3 years ago, why don't you just retire that and go somewhere? I said, well, you know what? And I don't want to be a vegetable. Number one, I'm very active. Number two, it makes me younger to help people. I want to see people. I thrive on that. I thrive when I lift people up, because like my dad said, we were poor. We didn't get all these things, but then there was no governor that was helping us. And so I felt that if I was ever in a position and I became governor, is to never forget where I came from and to lift up people and help them. And every time I do that, my life just gets extended and extended, because when they look me in the eye and then we become gangs, that's why they say, why do you have 9,000 people when you want to go to vote? What do you get? It's because these relationship that we may have gotten together politically, it is not what's keeping us together. It's because of love and trust and the cultural way that we have survived here. I was a true Magalahi. I was in the middle of the public square. I was in the middle of wherever the barbecues are, the Matais, the Lisazus, the Christenings, and I interact with people. I never changed. People come up to me, they can touch me like that, tell me their problem. Kita Maria lang ay leo at sa sumi edzi hanum gimenan gimao the stop organ PU edzi the tata naman matu. The admiral, when I was sitting there, I had a look when she was telling me that. Because like, oh, don't worry, Agnes Siso, I'll take care of this right now. I want to 2 hours go up there. And then the admiral says, wow, you even take care of leaking faucets? I said, Admiral, Tan Maria just looked me in the eye, and no matter how small her problem seemed to other people, that's the biggest problem she was facing, and we should attend to it. So don't ever knock down problems as small. People have problems that you think are small, but to them it's the biggest problem they're facing. I never let that thing go when my dad said, that's, never forget where you came from. And as long as you help Tan Maria and every person that I help moving forward, my life extended 1 year. So I'm going to live 200 years.
Well, I mean, I can attest to that. I mean, I'm waking up in the morning and I'm looking at all the texts that I'm getting from the governor. I've got about 10 or 15 texts that need to be done before 6 o'clock in the morning. And, and so that's the kind of the governor. I mean, you never stop thinking of things that need to be done.
Yeah, because which when I'm facing this problem with the financial, I'm thinking already, okay, so let's say God gives me the thing to be the governor of Guam. Who am I going to put in the transition that can go in there right away? I'm thinking of people. I'm thinking of what way. That's if you're going to be running for governor, you have to have the expectation you're going to win. And if you think you're going to win, then I start putting the plan in place on how to begin from the first day of transition, which is November 8th, right? Or November 7th. November 7th, because we have if the election's over November 6th, November 7th, they say Gutierrez, but I'll win. Then I'm going to start putting my people in who's going to go in to look at all the various financial records, every department. Everywhere, I'll have people checking so that they can give me a report before I go sworn as governor and say, here's what we found. And so that day is that transition with the right people going in and auditing, because they have that authority under the transition, so that I will know what I'm going to do. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm already thinking I'm there, right? So I'm thinking about who's going to be. And that person that came this morning was perfect for the financial situation, so that I know what to do to solve the problem.
Fatty Matty Brown, thumbs up. Antonio Pablo, hello. David Camacho, hello. Paul Bloss, GB 2018. Of course, Vic has joined. David Camacho again. Go start hiring data entry staff. Start with current taxes paid, owed, and then work backwards.
Yeah, well, he knows. Dave knows.
Robert Pinala, thumbs up again. Paul Blas, get out of the playpen. He likes that playing in the playpen. Anthony Perez, Governor, do you feel that the government is overstaffed? If you think so, what will you do to balance the government? Start with that.
Where's that at?
Okay, right here. Anthony Perez, Governor. Do you feel that the government is overstaffed? If you do, if you think so, what will you do to balance?
Well, we haven't gone into the transition yet, right? To really find out how many people are there, how many vacant positions are there. First thing we do is that you don't exacerbate the situation. When I get in there as my first day, I'm not going to, just because the governor has 100 people at Adelup, I'm not going to have 100 people at Adelup. Just because they have deputy directors out there, I'm not going to put deputy director. I'm going to put minimal people around based on the transition report that comes in, so that we can start to operate it like that. Don't exacerbate the situation by putting political hires into places that you don't need to. And then we just go back to the basics first, and let's figure out how to take care of Guam Memorial Hospital, how to find the funds to go there. We already have we can solve customs already because we have our own funding for that. We can just raise the custom user fee another couple dollars. But the police department too, I understand the fire department as well. Now they have a training going on for cycle, but the budget hasn't even put that in for hiring afterwards. So those are the things that it's hard to say whether it's overstaffed or what. I mean, you got to give me a chance to look at it fully.
Sure.
We cannot just depend on the media telling you that.
David Camacho again. That's right, Gov. Our people on government assistance must be encouraged to put in a good day's work. We need to put pride in our less fortunate community.
Yeah, for example, those homeless people. Why are they homeless, right? I mean, look at them. They said a family. Okay, you take care. I'm going to give you some money. Okay, and we'll find you. There's somebody sent me this homeless kind of shelters to be built at very minimal wage. We'll probably do some of that with the Chamorro Land Trust. May have an agreement with them, but more important to give them some kind of income by assigning them certain areas, even if it's only for a bathroom in Inorahan. Na bonito siya, I'm going to build another bathroom. Na bonito, paint it, na pau-pau, so that when the people come to the swimming pool in Inorahan, they see it's open, somebody's there, and you can be guarding it. And that family will be making some money. They'll be depending on some kind of income. You know, I'll give them the supplies needed, and I'll say the entire family is contracted that you guys, even if you're little kids can go there. They can help Nana and Papa plant kalachucha around the area to make it look like that. The bus stops also. I have a family maintain the bus stop. We're going to redo it and expand it to a certain way where it becomes usable. It's obsolete, functionally obsolete now. The way it is, people get wet. So those are the things that it's cheaper for us to think outside that playpen, as that Anthony likes, right? That's what we're gonna do. So it's ideas like this. You gotta. That's what makes me think all night when I cannot sleep.
There we go. Hey, Gov, Vancouver, Canada's in the house. My sister-in-law, Myra Suya Meliza, she's watching us from Vancouver, Canada.
Which one is that?
Myra Suya Meliza.
Hi.
My wife's sister.
Magandang gabi there, right?
And Juanita Macy, she's viewing us as well.
I love all those emojis.
Yeah, Chris Nicholas.
Kick-ass guy. Excuse my language in Talafofo.
Tina Sablamakata Biba, half a day from Las Vegas.
Hi, my niece. She's gonna better come back, Tina, because I trust you to work with us at Adelup.
There you go, Chris Nicholas Biba, of course.
It's okay, boy. You both in Saipan this time because you registered there, but I know you want to come back to Guam.
No, Penal Biba from Saipan, and Roy Gamboa. This man thinks outside the box, and that's what we need.
Yeah, which brings me to this guy's idea. See, Roy Gamboa. He was like a medic, right? He was in the Marines, and he says, Gav, I said, okay, I promise you, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put a center down there, maybe at Agat, right? Because he's from Agat, for like a first response area for accidents or heart attacks or whatever, around the southern community to go through first. It's the primary care and stabilization before the ambulance goes further down to Guam Memorial Hospital. So he's got to put that plan together for me. I've already tasked him to do that. But that was his platform when he ran for senator.
Or mayor?
Mayor, right. For mayor. I see I elevated him all the time because he's very smart. But that's what I'm talking about. Figuring out how to help in Iran, for example, having to traverse a heart attack victim from Inulahan or Mariso that way. They die before they, so the clinic should be also ready to handle these cases by putting cheaper for us to put. And the community would love it if they feel that there's some place for them to go. Cheaper for us to take a doctor and a nurse or two nurses and assign them to live down there and man that clinic. Instead of a contractual, whatever it is. It's cheaper. We're looking at all the comparisons of what's cheaper and for get the biggest bang for your buck.
Yeah, Joe Rosario, well said. And Anthony's got a question for you. Anthony Perez, Governor, why is it the president government not collecting from the federal government for what
Old
is owed for the FSM being in Guam, like promise.
No,
basically
no,
on the
no,
compact
no,
impact.
no. Actually, there was really no promise. We were just unwittingly sat on the sideline. The only biggest concern we had was the hospital, and
Mhm.
rightfully Ricky Verdalio, and I was a senator at the time. We welcomed the people coming in, but he says the biggest thing is that we're going to be impacted with the hospital.
Mhm.
So they said, don't worry, we're going to let them use Naval Hospital. But they didn't. They lied to us, night, and saying that it's only authorized.
Mhm. Mhm.
So the compact impact problem that we have right now is not the fault of the federal government. It's the fault of the people of Guam and the leadership not coming together to show what the negative impact of the FSM and the other freely associated states, what the negative impact, but you also have to take the positive they're providing for the economy. And so we'll bring in the federal government, we'll bring in the Department of Interior, we'll bring in the various island government, the Council of Micronesian Chief Executives, and we're going to come up with a formula so that even the federal government will be sitting there and says, okay, this is our formula. We'll do this, taking the positive, and here's what we come out in the average. So this is what we have to agree you must give every year. Right now, they're giving, I think, 30 million a year, which is spread between the states and Hawaii and Saipan and Guam. We got the most of it, I think, 16 point some million.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it's still certainly not enough.
Mhm.
But the federal government is not just going to give you because you tell, oh, you owe me 300 million. No, you got to take be reasonable.
Sure,
Guys,
sure.
I'm paying you, so don't just tell me that's what I owe you. Show me how we work together to come out with the right amount. But don't just take the negative side. Take the
Sure.
positive as well, and let's see what we
Sure.
can do.
Dave Duenas chime in. Buenas, Governor. And Dave, I hope you're feeling better. We haven't seen you for a while, but get well and hope to see you soon.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah, and Ernest Kenga, Biba, of course, Gutierez Interview, Tina against Saban, yes. Tina, yeah.
Yeah, ready. Start packing, Tina.
Denise Legaspi, what about downsizing the administration? Basically, the administration. So when you were,
Yeah,
you talked about that.
I spoke with Denise
Yeah.
the other day,
Mhm.
and she was kind of hesitant to receive pamphlets and all that, right?
Mhm, mhm.
But my canvasser managed to say, "Well, why don't you talk to Governor Gutierrez and ask him those things?" That's okay. Let me have the pamphlets, and then gave the phone number. So I called her a couple of days ago in the morning, and the first thing he said, "Hi, Uncle Carl,"
Mhm.
and she told me the whole story, right? And how she's kind of being neglected around the area with so many trashing around and unruly neighbors,
Sure.
etc. Right? But I need to be able, Denise, to get in there and find out what's happening from the day one of the transition, November 7th, for me to tell you about what's going on right now without us really knowing. But I'm telling you, Denise, that I'm going to pay special attention to people like you who come in and ask the right questions. I'm not going to be isolated. You can see me, you can come and talk to me, you can call me. As a matter of fact, you have my number already when I called you. So that's what I'm going to do. Just to give you and pander to people out there by giving, I'm going to take care of it. No, I'm going to tell you, I'll give you the right information once I know what's the story.
What it really looks like in there.
Yeah.
David Camacho, of course, that's right, Gov. Our people are our greatest resources. Joe Rosario, glad you brought the Gov to your show. This is the time for him to talk and for the people to listen. Good job. Fatty Matty Brown, oh yeah, thank you. Norbert Pinal, Jonia for Gutierrez Verdalio. David Camacho, again, meet the right size government, the right fit for the right job. Can't fit a square peg into a round hole. Yeah. And Juanita Macy, of course, she's
I love her emoji.
Yeah, she's always one of the first ones to chime in.
Morning, Larry the Healy.
Larry, good morning, Governor. And Gus is on. Gus, I spoke to him earlier this morning, actually, on my way down here to the HQ. If you read it, you don't. If you read it, you don't believe it. Okay.
Well, if you have to read it, I think it's correct that I mean, if they ask you a question, don't read what other people wrote for you, what the best answer should be. It's got to come from your heart and your mind, right? So you know that you are capable of leading and not depending and be handled. No one's going to handle me.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? But the others, when you're staff driven, that's where the problem comes in.
There we go. And again, maybe wait a minute. That's on page 5. Let me see where my stance is. Okay. Norbert Penal again, Familia Rosario, Bruno for Gutierrez Battalion all the way.
Where are you at?
Right here, at the
Oh,
top there.
man.
There.
Okay.
And then Denise Legaspi again, it says, what about downsizing the administration, special assistants and deputy, whatever the
Yeah,
appointees?
I said that earlier, Denise, that, as soon as we get in there, we're not going to be putting out, filling the same positions that this administration has, some special assistants or deputy directors. I'm trying to have Department of Public Works, for example, the senior, the person that's there, for example, just an example, because I don't know what's there now, the one, the classified employee, that the senior that knows the insides and the outsides of Public Works, for example, and report directly to ADLU. They don't have to have a director there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to study all of that, because that's where a lot of this money, you're talking about maybe $20-some million that go out just for special assistance. That's not going to be any more like that. You have to look at me and say, yeah, but if you keep doing that, you're not going to get reelected. I am not running to be governor to think about being reelected. I mean, how much longer do I going to live? I'm going to do what's right for the people of Guam. And I'm sure that the people that are supporting me here, the volunteers and all that, I told them, I said, hey, listen, you know what your job's going to be when we win? That morning, we all go down and open that. Actually, I said, kick down the door, so we can claim Adelup back, right? And that's what we need to do. But it's because we're saving it for Guam, not for themselves individually.
There you go. And actually, a follow-up to what she said there was jump over a couple of people, then we'll go back. Denise says, leave the regular employees alone. And you said that you're going to work closely with senior management.
I don't even know whether we're overstaffed. They're asking about they're overstaffed. I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe there are some vacant positions that are just being rolled over every year without filling it.
Yeah. Again, Dave Camacho, that's right. Gus, talking about Gus.
Well, I have a lot of high hopes for Gus, believe me, that for us to be able to protect ourselves here. Listen to this, people. Back in about 40 years ago, Senator Frank Defunto, Frank Blas, came up with the idea of having a Guam Airlines. Not necessarily because it's a business, all that, but once we have our own license that's Guam-based, get a Part 121 from the FAA, then you can have that license to fly to the United States. Then you can wield that power down here so that you don't have the United Airlines or Delta that just leave when it's not good and all that, right? But we protected like Continental Air Micronesia. I was with the Air Micronesia. Our license was Part 121. I believe that's the number. I'm not sure yet. And then we became partners with Continental Airlines. When I was part of the management board of Continental Air Micronesia, when Continental in Texas says, we're going to give all our flight attendants in the States this and that, and I said, well, then you're going to have to give it to our Continental Air Micronesia flight attendants as well. But once they bought that license out from UMDA, and then they took control again and was able to sell it to United Airlines. But once they're only looking at their business model. But when you have that airline here, we can take that and we can partner up. We can partner up with foreign airlines, with the big airlines, Philippine Airlines, for example, and Imperial Airlines, whatever that Gus is trying to bring out here, right? Together with Northern Marianas, we partner up. We share that license so that our people are not going to be paying $300 a round trip to Saipan, and so this is what we're doing right now, and we're working very closely with Gus and the Sangas, and his investors right now are looking at Guam and say, man, I don't know if I want to go there. The way they're doing their finances here is, unstable. Well, we're going to stabilize it. We're going to stabilize it and market Guam as for a destination to have our Guam-based licensed airlines, Guam and Northern Marianas.
Again, Denise is chiming in. All you can see is administrators, top heavy, and you attest to that in regards to directors and deputies. Frankie Quino, Aday non malefa I kandi. Okay. Anyway. Denise again, leave the regular.
That's all they're like my daughter, si Denise. And my brother, Manny Apas in the Funtu, right? And we were in the Air Force together. But that whole clan, they're I told him before he died, don't worry, take care of your kids. They're my kids too. And they look at me, and it's not just Uncle Carl, but I'm their dad's extension.
Yeah. Gus, again, he says, hey, I describe the current administration as individuals who dive underwater for breath. Yeah. Dave Camacho, as long as our government officials continue to protect their kingdoms, we, the vassals, will be eaten up by elites.
Yep, that is yeah. It's like the feudal estate we have here, right?
Yeah. Denise Agaspi again. What about fair labor for the private sector?
Fair labor.
For the private sector. Fair
Well,
labor.
right, Guam right now, yeah, Guam is a right to work law, right? So but they're protected by many other ways of, you know, the EO, EOC, whatever it is. So I don't know what you mean, but
well, I think one of the things, because even you answered this question in a previous forum, in that whether you're for increase minimum wage and all that, and, but a blanket statement to say, hey, you need to make sure that the consequences, that the same people that you're going to help, that you're not hurting as well, because prices will go up accordingly, and either your money will travel less, or the same as where it was before. So you have to take a holistic look at that, grow the economy, and likewise people's wages. You want to
be careful what we ask for, and just willy-nilly jumping up the minimum wage like they're doing in Oregon right now to $15. Now they're suffering because you know, the businesses will just cut down your hours and do other things.
Take the benefits away.
It's not intended to be a living wage, the minimum wage. You know, you can't raise family. It's somebody to take care of the certain kind of job, but it's not a head of the household kind of a job, right? But yes, we sympathize with that, but we have to also make sure that we don't ruin our economy by just willy-nilly doing this, raising of taxes and minimum wage and everything else without the input of the business community.
And make sure that if you do that, the repercussions, what you're intending to do again covers what the intentions are. As opposed to again, whether the prices will go up accordingly and your money's not going to go any further than it did the previous minimum wage.
Happy birthday, 50th birthday, Gus. It is the new 40.
There we go.
You know, I was speaking with the minister of Harvest Baptist, and he was telling me the story about the three major prophets in the Bible. One of them was Joseph. Again, the one with many colors, coats of many colors, right? And how he can be able to, and he was only 30 years old when he was advising the Pharaoh of how to, think ahead. And he says, there's going to be 7 years of famine. You got to start putting your grain and whatever, storing it, right? And so I thought this minister was trying to tell me that it's time for the millennials, right? And the young guy, 30 years old, right? He's trying to say that don't equate wisdom with age because it does not necessarily follow, right? He was trying to tell me, but as he went on and talked about Daniel and everything else, then I said, no, I think it's not. So I just said to the minister at the end, I said, you mentioned about Joseph, and he was only 30 years old. And that was 3,000 years ago, right? Today, 76 is the new 30. So that's where it is. And then he laughed and he says, absolutely. So that's your new 40, Gus.
There we go. Of course, Denise Roy Fison, Cyrus, governor, and actually Denise Roy Fison again, half a day from Hampton, Virginia.
Yes. I'm glad you're tuning in. I was just with Bernie and John the other day in Iran. They were there. The Apesins were there, and I miss Manny because he was like a brother. I met him first in 1962 at Anderson Air Force Base. He was the funniest guy you could ever run across. I mean, I can't stop laughing. I remember when I was checking at Anderson Air Force Base, right? He'd been there already, and he pretty much controlled the what do you call that place where you can play pool, the recreation center. So I came early to Anderson to muster in, bring my records and show that I'm being assigned to Guam, right? And so I looked over there at the recreation center, and the door was cracked. So I walked in, right? And at that time I looked more howly than Chamorro, right? So he started speaking Chamorro, and so they were all laughing, right? And then I kept moving closer, and then I put my name on the top on the list that whoever loses, I'm the next one to play, right? Then I galutinaw si Pablo. Galutinaw. Kung nalaman sa malofan si Manier, Audrey Malet from Galuti, ay. We became brothers in that time.
There we go. And of course, we need a Macy as well. Denise, Roy, the hand clap there. Of course, David Camacho, age is just a number. Ask Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Ask him. Yeah, absolutely. And Gus, of course. Happy birthday, Gus. John Paul Manuel, B. Bagov.
John Paul, campaign going well.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. These guys again. Happy birthday, Gus. John Napoli, B. Governor Gutierrez stopped by this morning, but you two were busy. Always busy. Always busy. You're still the one.
That's that guy met me in 2014, and has like by my next other son in telephone. He was active, boy, very smart.
There we go. Dave joined us again. Approachable, willing to listen, passionate about your issues, and will act on your issues, big or small. That's the traits of the true Magalahi, and why I support and will vote for GB hands down, the most experienced team with the people as his priority. Gus Sangus again. Thanks, Denise, Roy, Denise, Roy Fison, Cyrus. That's right, Governor Dave Venus. Bottom line, is the job gets done. And then we have Vinny Vincent, Alpha Day from Las Vegas.
Hi, Vinny.
Yeah, we have Polly Gay, Biba GB, Governor. What can you do to improve the Inarahan pool to make it look better?
That's my relative. Help is on the way. I mean, when you hear si Charlie Matanona, si Vincent, Victor Dueñas, and those people out there talking about this, about the pool. I've got enough guys there that are ready to take me down there on the second day to also figure out what to do with that area, because it requires some kind of a renovation and making it safe. And don't worry, help's on the way, Polly.
As a matter of fact, Guff, when I was still doing radio, I always touted myself as the mayor of the Inarahan pool, because we were on top of that issue. And every time the Island Wide Beautification Task Force came here, there was one after another reason. And so I said, you know what? We just become the mayor of the Inarahan pool. John Paul Manuel, we need an aggressive governor who will take their job as tax commissioner seriously and go out themselves to collect the tax evading big businesses. We need that to save GMH, save DOE, and the only true Magalahi that can get the job done.
Yeah.
John Paul Manuel again, nobody should get away with it. Pauline Guam, wow, you're on fire, Gov.
Pauline Guam.
Yeah, Pauline Guam. Wow, you're on fire, Gov. And you're so experienced. I enjoy listening to you.
Oh, thank you, Pauline.
Yeah. John Paul Manuel, a real Magalahi right there. Joe and Goku, I call him Joe and Go. Gutierrez Berdalio, the right team at the right time. Julie Howitz.
Oh my God, Julie Howitz. My gosh, Julie Rose.
Yeah, actually,
Julie Rose from Ordut, right?
Yeah.
She was Joseph Augustine's secretary when he was when I was first hired. I'm not giving her away her age, but she is. I became the man they hired to start the automation of the government of Guam, the computerization of the government of Guam. And she was always my go-between, because Joseph Augustine liked to yell at me, right? And so it's but then John Howitz, the Anderson clan here,
actually,
right?
He's my first cousin.
Sataman, right? But she's like family. When I was governor, we stayed at their house in San Diego when I was asked to speak to the Sons and Daughters Club of San Diego, and there was a state senator there, I think a congressman was there, and they interacted well. But Julie is family to us, and we're going to see you again, Julie.
Yeah, no, again, we called her husband, we call him Buzzy.
But yeah, I think they moved to Texas. I'm not sure, but they
were in San Diego for a while.
Yeah.
Actually, I think in
Super Creek.
I think they were in Super Creek. I think they were in Julian. I think that area outside San Diego.
No, I stayed there with them that evening, but it's these people that I hope will come back. We gotta reshape Guam back to what it was that made it a good place to be. I know it's tough because of the influx of different kinds of people, but there's a way to do it. You just pay attention to it.
There we go. And Sunny Cruz, Biba Carl, Familian Can Do. There we go. Pauline Guam, staff driven. Good point. Dylan Saban, Governor, I love the first debate when you said the only solution to our decolonization is independence. Can you speak more on that?
Well, I've been there in so many iterations of our Commonwealth status quest. We get caught up in our own ideals, but I've come to learn that why are we making a choice for statehood, free association? It's when it's not our call. You can choose that all you want, but you have to have a dealing with another entity. United States not going to make us a state. They ain't about to give us free association, hopefully, but that's a possibility that you can get free association with the United States passport, right? And or U.S. citizen. But then that's a hard thing to do. So when you are asked to negotiate with your own government, as minuscule as you are, it ain't going to work. And the only way for you to be able to negotiate on the same, on the same level is to be independent. That's the only thing you ask. Do you want to be independent or you want to stay status quo? Once you choose the independence and you let people know why are we choosing independence, it's because we need to negotiate, equally with the federal government. And so that's, it's just the way to do it correctly, and the people of Guam really know that that in the Philippines they were a Commonwealth of the United States up to 1946, all right, and then they wanted to be independent. I said, the people they were national U.S. nationals, they were at the time, but they wanted to be independent, and they were willing to die. They were willing to fight and die to become independent. Here in Guam, we're not even willing to give up our U.S. passports. So if you want to be independent, you got to be willing to give up your U.S. passport. Possibility. I don't think you can be independent unless you're do it like Palau. Palau they have a free association, but they have their own passports. So until you wake up to reality of what you're going to get when you're independent, then all of these structures that you see around you. Yes, we are owned lock, stock, and barrel by the military. We are, we are positioned here for national defense, for national security interests. And I'm trying to change that thinking around by saying, America and Asia, bring us into your national financial strategy, national economic strategy, not just national defense strategy. Once you do that and give us more tools to work with the finances, do more that we can do with a customs-free zone, and give us more shipping availability outside of the Jones Act, for example, which hampers us. I mean, but you need to make it a bigger issue, not just go there on a piecemeal. Let's go deal with the Jones Act. No, you got to lift it up into an overarching sitting down with a Donald Trump, who's a smart businessman and can see that if we are in a different kind of, not level playing field, he would level it. And I'll tell him, let Guam be part of the national economic strategy. Use us to benefit the United States. So use Guam to move businesses from Asia here in the telecommunications. We'll have more jobs for our people, high-paying jobs in cyberspace. We have now a space force. Let at least the Lajong landfill be part of the space force and take that thing down, and we'll put our UFOs there, and we'll.
But Governor, companies, not only telecommunications companies, because of the fiber optics I'm here, there are a lot of companies that are not in the telecom business, but rely on high, really fast telecommunications networking to be able to thrive.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of people, and I don't realize, when the GTA, this is my own thinking, it's not a conspiracy, but it makes sense. For example, they put in $250 million. They're putting it in right now, but more fiber optics. Do you think they're going to be putting that in if it's not primarily for the use of the military and national defense and whatever it is? But we benefit from it. We benefit from it, and that's where you need to sit down with the military, as I did when I was Speaker of the Legislature. I was gangs with the Anderson commander, gangs with the admiral, gangs with everybody. We go out and we eat, we barbecue at the ranch. We became a family. So when I asked for something, and when the President Clinton, when we got hit by Typhoon Paka, he calls me up and says, Carl, we already told General Gallagher up at Anderson that you're in charge of the thing, and you tell him how many C5As you want, how many equipment you want, how much people you want. You need to bring them out to help you, all of this stuff, right? And they were so glad to do it. The General Gallagher, Admiral Brewer, we were all working together. When the earthquake hit in August 93, only one building fell down, that Royal Palm Hotel, whatever it was, right? So we survived. I mean, my house didn't even crack, right? And then Governor Ada, and I applaud him, rightfully so, but maybe he was a little bit rash on it. He says, we don't need to declare federal emergency. We survived this very well. And we applauded it, right?
Mhm.
But a year and a half later, when I became governor, suddenly the sewer line going to the south from Adelup, the water line started coming up, bubbling up because it showed up a year and a half later, right? It cost me $28 million, and I couldn't find where all the leak was. I called Admiral Brewer. I need those guys that you brought out here that has the technology to send in smoke signals or whatever it is in the sewer, find out where all the leaks are. He said, I can't pay out for myself. I said, okay, we go 50-50. So we put 250,000, he put 250, and then we got that company, and then we fixed it up. But that's that kind of relationship you need to put together with the people. They're part of our community. But you cannot stand out there and get mad at the military and say, as governor, I'm against the build-up. I'm for the build-up. I'm against the build-up. You cannot be a tantrum-throwing governor like that because they don't take you seriously. That's why we're having trouble with people looking for Guam to be a good investment area.
Sure. Pauline Guam, again, I hear so much passion in your drive, Governor. Of course.
Who?
Very. Pauline Guam. So much passion. And he's definitely a passionate person, yeah. Elwin Champaco Kitano, I need water and power on my CLTC ranch, Governor. Can you help me? I know that you can do 8 years of nothing from Gov Guam.
Okay, let me tell you that in our platform, since the governor of Guam gets approximately, let's say $16 million compact impact. It's a little bit more. Sometimes they give us another 1 or 2 afterwards. But let's say $16 million. In my platform, I promised, and I don't promise if I'm not able to do it, because the compact impact money, when it comes to Guam, is only between the governor of Guam and the Secretary of Interior. Whatever I ask for to use, the Secretary okays it. The senators in the past they passed a law that says no, it has to go through him, but the Interior just laughed at them, so they don't pay attention to that. I'm setting aside $8 million. $8 million of the compact impact money. Look it up. It's on our platform. And it's a promise that will be committed and done. $8 million. I'm going to have my own mini public works. Because when you go to CCU and you have to pay $26,000 to cross a road to put your water in, or your power, or they'll just disconnect you for no good reason. I am taking that $8 million. I'm already looking at some retired certified people from GPA, the power people, the sewer people, the graders, the roads people. And we're going to go in and I'm going to buy with the $8 million a year, power poles, water pipes, electrical lines, everything that's needed, graders to open up the roads into small land trust property. Put in all the infrastructure, put in the power, and then when it's time, I call CCU, I'm turning it over to you, charge them only connection fee. That's a promise, and that's going to happen.
Yeah. Actually, let's go down. Ray Paris, Sabiba, again from Swamp Road. But let's go down because he's got another question down here, which you already answered. Basically, he says, Uncle Carl, how would you help the people with Chamorro Land Trust properties with no water and power behind La Familia store in Dededo, whom are currently living with these conditions? We were told by the current administration to go and build our dream home, yet Taza Hanum Zan Kandit, Taza Hanum Zan Kandit Tamanu na Kansapago. How would they be able to rest?
Maulik, because help is on the way. I just told you something that I promised, and it will be able to deliver. The $8 million a year is more than sufficient to put a few people on, to put all those active licensed chauffeurs and drivers, equipment operators. I'm going to buy directly from Pangilinan Power Poles or wherever who sells wholesale the power lines, and so that we get certified people to put in these infrastructure. And I'm going to come up there, and everybody in the Chamorro Land Trust property that are occupying it and polluting the groundwater because they don't have any sewer lines, I'm going to go and take care of that because it becomes a public health problem. You know, you just think that, you know, when I first became governor in 1995, okay, I'm going to repeat this again, Jesse, because it demonstrates what I am as a governor. First week in office, there's this group of people coming in and said, Governor, can you please give us power up there in Ano, Lupuk, and Astumbo? Because we cannot afford to pay for power because each power pole costs $1,800. and it's going to take 30 of that to come in, almost $60,000 to to bring it all the way into that. And so I called Malo.
Joe Malo.
Joe Malo and some people from GPA said, why do you guys charge so much to do this? Governor, that's what it costs for the power poles. So I said, okay, so where are those? Didn't you just go through a pole hardening program that the federal government gave you millions of dollars to take out all those wooden power poles and stick in the concrete ones? And I said, he said, yes. I said, where are those wooden power poles? They said, up on a Sengsung Road. I said, that's the one that I was sitting on the side of the road? He says, yes, take me there. We drove there, and there were 4,800 power poles stacked like a pyramid and on the ground. And I said, okay, Malo, Rick, you take this.
Rick and Pinko
was and you take this and you store them. I mean, you take this and use it for the people that want power, so they don't have to pay for the 800, 1,800. He says, no, Governor. The rules and the agreement that we signed with the federal government when they gave us that $18 million to change the power poles, they said you cannot use that. I said, what did they tell you to do with it? Told us to just store it. I said, okay, so is that how you're storing it? He says, yes, Governor. So I can't do that. We can't use it. I said, okay, who's the governor of Guam, Rick? Malo? You, sir. Stand in front of me. I'm taking responsibility. You take those power poles and you store them standing up all the way in and tie wires to it so that they can hold each other, right? And then give people their power. And to this day, those poles are still standing. GPA is making money of it. The people have built homes around it, and they're all part of the community. We brought them in outside of, being marginalized, and they don't care. I care for everybody, and everybody should be prospering and appreciating our island. Can you imagine our people in 2018, no water in their house?
Governor, I understand that they tried to indict you for that particular situation.
They tried. They did. They did indict me.
Yeah.
And the federal government came in to come and testify, and they started laughing at them. So what's wrong with you guys? The governor is absolutely correct. They threw out the thing. But that's how you think outside the box. If they tell you to store it, figure out how to store it. Store it standing up. And they're holding each other. Otherwise, the termites would have eaten it over the last 20 years.
May Conception, you're still the one. Nick Guerrero off today from Sacktown, California, from Zonia. Zonia rules there. Pepe Joe again. Alec, good morning, Gov, and good morning, Jess. You go, GB. Wow, 29-18. Wow, that's too far ahead. 20. Pepe Joe's giving us 29-18. I don't know.
He's way ahead of that.
So wait,
you missed the zero, Pepe Joe.
Paulie, love you, Gov.
Thank you. Thank you, Prima.
Beth Marzon, Mabuhay, and God bless 2018. Kelly Uzama, of course. And Roy Gamboa, well set regarding independence, Gov. And Therese Cruz, of course, the smiley face emoji. And Dave Dwayne, his help is on his way through a true Magalahi.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Get well, my friend.
Frank Aquino asked Fred to make Kadun Kutney.
You better hurry up and retire, boy, so we can have you putting out the GPA power lines to the people.
Yeah. And May Conception, Matthew Dodasco from Washington, Gov Carl.
That's my godson.
Is your Nino?
Yeah, that's my godson. Matthew, how are you doing, boy? I haven't seen you when you come back and visit Dad and Mom. I know that they're getting old like me, but come out and visit them, boy.
Yeah, and so Bashon Lee, of course. Bashon, are you back on island? Because I know her husband had some
yes,
some
the eye surgery, right?
Yeah, we are on the way for for Gutierez Badali, Biba, GB, Biba, Guam, Biba.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's the people. See, these people, we go back 30, 40 years. It's a relationship that is not only strictly politics, it's a personal relationship, because we never left one another. When Jerry and I left governor's office, people still come to us. We never left the people, because that's our life. So it's like, it's not like I'm just doing it for politics. No, it's just me.
Governor, when you were governor, and of course First Lady Jerry Gutierrez, she had again an organization that she headed up, people helping people.
Yeah.
She has a foundation now.
Yes, Palagwi. Let's go Palagwi,
yeah.
because they gave us hard time with people helping people, because they people loved us and they got us reelected because we were helping the people. But the other people didn't like it, so they just tried to close us down, right? And so they audited us, and there was of course nothing. I mean, my wife can pesos un centimos ginalutyaw.
Mm-hmm.
But we did, and because there's so thousands of our people fall through the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to so many medical fundraisers. I was just there a couple of nights ago again. But why? Why do we have to have our people do that when you can put together, as the Maga Haga First Lady, an organization that raises millions of dollars to help these people, and not only for medical, but for disastrous things that happen, the fires or typhoons, whatever it is, right? And also, the one thing that really bothers me is how they gave up the medical referral officers to a contract. Philippines, Hawaii, and California. When I had it, I spent $96,000 in the Philippines. I think 128,000 in Hawaii and 128,000 in LA. We put people there because I firmly believe culturally that when you're facing your last breath and that you go to these areas that you get medical referral to, and you're there sitting alone, nobody's going to pick you up, or they'll pick you up now. They just pick you up and then they throw you wherever you're going to go, and they never see you again.
Mm-hmm.
And it was put out for bid 8 years ago, 7 years ago, and it was the lowest bidder was a lawyer. It $2.7 million. And so when they gonna put some people in Philippines or Hawaii, they give it to the lowest bidder, and then suddenly there's no car, there's no service, because the money is being made by the one that won the contract.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bring that back and open up those referral offices where we truly take care of the people. Even if they're sitting in their hotels and they need transportation to go to a shopping center or something like that, you make their lives comfortable, in their last leg of existence, because that's the way we are. We take care of each other, and it doesn't cost us that. It's costing us 4 or 5 times more now.
Mm-hmm. We also, again, Cecile Regis, half a day from Georgia.
Hi, Cecile. Cecile Cruz Regis.
Yeah, Adelup is the sun is shining, and Bill Manglonia, Viva Sunshine.
That's my public safety director of Rhoda. I'm still the man.
Yeah, man, that's right. So he's still the public director.
Yeah. Really nice guy. I think we became friends also, But good. We're going to bring back again the unity of not only the Northern Marianas and Guam, but we're going to interact with each other so that we don't just become political friends. We become Manilo.
Yeah. Governor, one of the things that I discussed with Gus this morning, and I sure as heck is going to, as you said, bring back that good relationship again with not to say that we're strained, but even better relationship in regards to finances and everything like that. Because as much as we are brothers here in the Marianas, we also compete with our tourists and all this, right? One of the things I heard from Gus this morning in my conversation coming down here was the investors that they're really, again, the world's very small now based on social media and the news that have access to it almost as the news is made, the news is coming out.
Yeah.
One of the things that investors on basically Guam is it's not good. Our reputation has not been good. However, our brothers and sisters in the CNMI, again, are courting investors, and they don't have that reputation. And so they're courting them and almost, again, taking that business that would come to Guam over there. And whereas Gus saying, we need the area. We can't just operate in one, either a Guam or a CNMI. We need the area to thrive. How can we foster that relationship again? And although we're friendly competitors, we can mutually benefit from investment.
That's why it's called synergy, because there's a nuance in their relationship with the United States as compared to ours. So we can draw the best from both sides. And they're able now to figure out that it's probably a lot better to start giving discounts on landing fees, like 75% discount on the first year and 50% the second year for 2 years, right? Well, we're not in that situation yet where we need to be able to.
Sure.
So, but we can use their plight for us to ride on, and use the license that we can get for this new airlines and share the burden with the Northern Marianas to make this thrive, and share the burden that we can together make the economy of the Northern Marianas and Guam thrive at the same time, and promote that as a one destination.
Sure.
And who knows, if that relationship of Manielus comes together, that we might just be able to do what Congressman Burton wanted to do back in 1983 when he told me, Governor, my dream is that Guam and the Northern Marianas unite so I can push you guys to be the 51st state. That's what he told me. And unfortunately, he died 3 months after that, but he was the godfather for the territories. He forced a relationship with me, Governor Bardalio, and particularly Congressman Wampat. But that was the relationship that whatever we wanted $35 million to get the medical center of the Marianas, where Guam Memorial is now.
MCM, yeah.
We needed $35 million to buy it from them. He just said, okay, put the bill in the next day, and then it became low. We got $35 million for nothing. But that's the kind of guy it was, just from relationship. When I went into him and I said, Mr. Chairman, back in 1962, Typhoon Karen hit us. And there was no FEMA at that time, only military can come on and declare martial law to help us. But, the federal government gave us $75 million, but it's a loan. And they take $3 million a year from Section 30 to pay us, right? And we've been paying already several years. I said, is there any way you can forgive that loan? I don't know why you guys are taking $3 million a year. So he said, yeah, let me look at it. So he asked Jeff Farrell, bring me that piece. There it was. I don't know. We still had $50-some million left. He said, okay, it's written off, passed a law, and became a grant. That's just from talking.
Sure.
People don't remember that, but it's true. Me and Ed Charfurus were there, Senator Ed Charfurus, and I give him credit because he was sitting there with me when they did away with a $57 million balance of a $75 million loan taken out of Section 30. People don't know this, but that's how you get results. It's relationship with people, and I want to forge that again with somebody in Washington. I've already got some guys. I've got one lady that's got the straight in now to the White House. And so we're working so that when I go there in January for the first governor's conference and the president comes to talk to us, because they always have it on the schedule, there'll be a private meeting between me and President Trump, and I'm going to make sure that he'll like me.
There we go. He's definitely. I mean, you're definitely gonna get along here. Let me see who else has chimed in here. Bill and Lonnie, Biba Sunshine again. Kelly Lizam, this is the man who speaks from the heart. Nothing scripted. The team that can make Guam again. Thank you, Gov. You made a believer of me. For you to lead Guam out of this mess.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for your honesty. Those are the kind of people now that will remain not only politically allied, but become very close brother.
Now, one of the things we talk here, right, and of course our status, we have a delegate to Congress, but doesn't really have a vote and all that. And people will always say, well, because we don't have a vote, we can't leverage our vote versus what to get here in Guam. You touted, you're averse to tout Guam as America in Asia. And I know you did this when you were governor. You leverage who we are, America and Asia, to be able to open doors over there. Why has that since been kind of like put on the wayside and abandoned, and leverage who we are, the tip of the spear, basically, to get a better relationship?
Well, maybe people take their job as ceremonial part, like the thing. But here's what happened. The one person that I don't think can be matched by any other delegate after him is Congressman Wampat. The diminutive guy, unassuming, but he made so much of friends through the network. I mean, when I go visit him, he says, I said, what's going on? I says, oh no, Mr. Delegate. He says, wait, well, let me call Secretary of Defense Casper Weinberger. Come over here. Picks up the phone, calls the Secretary of Defense Casper Weinberger in half an hour, sitting in his office, and we're telling him what's going on, right? And that he doesn't become vanidoso or like Phil Burton. He became like a godson from Phil Burton. Whatever he wanted, they loved him. He made that network well. Okay, but the others, I don't know what their personalities or what. It just didn't go. But you have it inside you to drive you to get something accomplished. I'm not knocking anybody down that was there before. It's just that that's what I experienced, and that we need to be able to do more like that, and stand out for speaking about Guam, and because the more people know the story of Guam, the more that people will pay attention, and the best thing to do is to get into that White House and the powers that be there, and the Senate, and for certain, I still have my friend John Garamendi, who I brought out here to Guam. With Assistant Secretary of State,
He's out of California. He's out of
Mark
California,
Mulvey. Yeah,
right?
he was the insurance commissioner in California. And he's been there now for a long time in the Congress. And I brought him because we were close to putting together the Commonwealth Act, and so I'm still friend with her. Senator Tom Carper, who was stationed at NAS Agana and Okinawa. He was a jet pilot, which is still there. So there's still people there that I have relationship with that are still in power. So I'm going to go there and forge that relationship and figure out how we can draw power from that.
Joe Maffas, of course, Colonel.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah. Look, still the only governor that make the things happen for the good of Guam. The island need you back up. Let me ask you this, Gov, is this, right? Because, people talk about political self-determination and the status and all that. And the University of Guam, you basically said, look, we're going down this road. We've traversed this road. Other candidates says, hey, we got a new attorney here. I think you'll be very good. You'll be able to win this case. You're saying, hey, we've lost every case. We're not in a winning streak. And I'll let you talk about your idea about petition. But let me ask you this as well, because you were one of the leaders in regards to putting forth a Guam constitution.
Yeah.
Some of the critics basically say, I'll be honest, I'm one of them in the very beginning that thought the constitution prior to determining the political status was putting the cart before the horse. And I've asked you this. We've had great discussion of this. Now, most people think that if you had a Guam constitution, that will preclude us. That would negate us ever pursuing self-determining what we want to be in the future.
Here's where a lot of people don't know. And I was president of the Guam Constitutional Convention. It's still there. It was approved by Carter. President Carter was approved by Congress because it had to. The law says it has to be approved before we can come and vote to ratify it. We were on the same law as the Virgin Islands. They've had 5 iterations of their constitution, never been approved by Congress. In there, we wrote the Constitution. It was a good Constitution. It's good now. I hope that when I'm governor, I'm going to ask the legislature to go in and vote to ratify it again and make minor amendments. But the key here was 90% of the Organic Act would have gone out the window. 10% would have stayed there, and that has to do with federal laws and our relationship with the federal government. We couldn't touch that. That's why we got approved. But here's something that I had put together with John Garamendi and President Clinton, is that without, we only complain about Guam. You gave us a delegate, but they cannot vote except maybe in committee sometimes if the Democrats are in power. But here's the situation. We need to have a meaningful participation in the way that you guys write our laws that govern our lives. One size does not fit all. So he says, what do you propose, Governor? I said, I propose that we have a federal commission to continue to study those 10% that's on the Organic Act, and the President of the United States will appoint to that federal commission. And I'm hoping, I said, don't appoint anybody from Interior because they're so low down in the totem pole. One from Defense Department, one from State Department, and then the government of Guam, the people of Guam will have one. Their job by law will be to review every piece of legislation going in the House, into the Senate, or executive orders or rules and regulations coming out of the executive branch. And every time that they're going to make something stick to Guam, that we have a report that goes in before they have a final vote. For example, they're going to do something, for example, with the EITC. Okay, we'll have a report. Don't make sure you exempt Guam because this is what's going to kill Guam, right? The economy. You're going to do something about the military. Make sure that don't take any more land, stuff like that. But the one size fits all, So that's meaningful participation. They have to wait for that report to come in, and so that they can see the effect it would have on Guam and also the other territories. But I was concerned about Guam primarily, but it would cover other territories. One size does not fit all when you pass laws. So that they agreed to that. Unfortunately, the people of Guam voted no to accepting the Guam Constitution because it said it would negate all our rights for future negotiations. Well, it's been 40 years. What have we done in the 40 years? We could have had a constitution and would have had a good check and balance between the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, right? So all these things about their arguments back then, it was like more of a demagoguery that made us turn away the Constitution. Let's re-vote it, take out 90% of the Organic Act. Let's get a federal commission to deal with the 10%. That's meaningful participation. They're not just going to pass laws that govern our lives without our input.
Yeah, talk about when they ask you basically in pursuit of our political status, and again where we at this point, because there are some questions where, well, what particular status you want right now, and I'm saying, well, we can't even talk about that because we're facing a federal lawsuit, or it's already a lawsuit basically who can vote. Now, you said you have gone down there, even as a senator, you've gone down this road. Now, you said,
yes, why pass a law? In other words, one say, why do we have to pass a law to tell the United States, the colonies of the United States did not pass a law to choose whether they want independent or a colony. They just decided that they're going to write a declaration of independence. And so if you want to do something right now that you don't want to include all U.S. citizens like Dave Davis, then you just go out on a petition. If you want to be independent, write your Declaration of Independence and go out and talk to people to sign on there and get their notary signed. And then you can present that to the Congress of the United States and say, this is what the people of Guam want, and here are all the lists. If other people want statehood, which it's not up to the Congress to just give you, but they, because you need 3/4 of the states to approve it, then you can do your petition also, and nobody's going to take you to court because it's no law that you're saying that we have to do it by law. Just go out and vote.
I say you got I won't say his name now, but a Republican who already voted, who had sent you the picture of his vote. He says Governor Gutierrez and President Trump are for the people, both of them. Biba GB 28. But anyway, again, you have Pepe Joe Alec Gov. I was asked by one of the individual persons, how can we help our public restroom clean? I said, maybe we can use those people that are receiving food and welfare, or food stamps and welfare, basically, to open and clean the public restroom. At least they are working to help and make use of them. And is that possible? And you already spoke about that.
I spoke about that, but it goes beyond just cleaning and all that. It's monitoring it 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's their responsibility. And they'll be paid for it to watch it and make sure that they don't trash it, and make sure that they're there, because it's going to be a family that's going to take care of that.
John Julie King Farnham, okay, be Governor Gutierrez, and Fred Berdalio and Roy Gamo again. Governor Gutierrez is a purpose-driven man.
Hello, Pari, another Farnham.
Purpose-driven man. There are things he sees that needs to be taken care of, and he plans and executes to get it done. He has foresight to know what will benefit Guam for years to come. He is a leader that is not afraid to lead from the front and will stand with the people and not in the chair in some office. He will work with the people at all levels to make Guam again.
Thank you. You're right, Roy. And I won't let you guys down. I just need people surround me that's going to have the same purpose-driven, drive.
Well, you will need people to stay in the office as well, right? You go out, right?
Yeah. I told Fred already. I said, Fred, Fred, as governor, there's a ceremonial part of being governor and lieutenant governor. So please, boy, buy a lot more suits so that when they're telling me there's a meeting at the hotel and dinner, well, that you go there, and I'll go down to Santa Rita and Agad, and I'm going to barbecue with the guys and figure out what's wrong with the guy. I said, I'm not for that. I'm not cut out for that. I'll do it, I'll do it, but only when really, really necessary, but not just for entertainment.
And that's true. Really, your comfort level was more with the average person
Yeah.
than actually being ceremonial and again the glitter.
Can I tell
Sure.
one story?
Sure.
I forgot his name already, but maybe 10 years, 15 years ago, we were barbecuing, and he says, "Do you know one thing I like? You like, Governor? You know how to come down to our level. Like, stop there. What are you talking about? Come down to your level?" He says, "Yeah, you're not afraid to come on me." I said, "Here, let me tell you this. If I go up to see the president, I step out, but where I belong is this level.
Mhm.
So I always come back to this level because that's where I belong. So if I need to go up to see a president or the congressman or the general or admiral, I go out of my place. But this is my place. I'm not going down to anything. This is where I belong."
You are the working man's governor, as a matter of fact, and that's what appealed to when we were talking. I remember talking to a pastor, and he says, "You're Trump-like."
Well, it's common sense. Common sense. Common sense. I mean, I'm just telling you that in Guam, it's not ideology that makes you a Democrat or Republican. People here call themselves Democrats or Republicans because of association of family and friends, but not ideology. And those people that the Republican businessmen have been elected to go in the legislature and add a look, I told them that the thing is just take your blinders off because these are rhinos and they are Republican in name only. They're the ones raising the taxes, while the Democrats in name are the ones stopping them. So they said, "You're right, man. They're going to start looking at these guys that are using the Republican name."
When you sit back here now and you look at and watch the president of the United States and what he's doing and the mainstream media where he calls the fake news, basically. You can definitely relate to that because when you were governor, the media really I mean, good thing that Trump took that away from you, took that title away from you, but you were the media wasn't very in love with you.
No, because I was not playing their games. Like the publisher of one of the newspapers wanted me to do them a favor and let them have that property on Tumon for nothing, and I said no. Or the other guy that's the head of a federal agency and wants me not to re-indict somebody, and I said no. Why do we want me to do obstruction of justice? Then they started going. I didn't make friends in high places because that's not me. I protect the people first, and some people want to be good friends, give you some money and all that thing. I chase them away, and that's why even one bank here hates the heck out of me because I wouldn't listen to them.
So. Again, you were telling us, you tell us a story. You said, I mean, when Trump threw his hat in and started speaking and everything like that, you knew that he was going to win that election.
No, I had a little bet with, I think, Todd Smith, the lawyer, met him at the airport. And I said, no, he says, "What do you think?" "Oh, come on, you're kidding." I said, "No, he's going to win. He's going to be the governor, the president of the United States." And, that's 6 months before the election came. And it's just, I felt something. That the people of the United States already are tired of being driven by media. People are being tried now by the media. People that say, they stole property at Barrigada Heights. They transfer all the special funds. Well, just give them a break, man. Just find out first. Give them a chance to hear their side. Don't just be convicting them through the media. And that's what they do well, just to sell newspapers and their news stories.
So actually, when you sit down and bring Trump out here, you bring the newspaper articles and say, "Look, been there, done that."
So it works everywhere. I'm just telling you that I talked to one FBI agent that retired that he did business here, and he said, "The trouble with you, Doug, you just wounded these people. You didn't put them away completely because they're going to come back and get you." When some guy said, "I have ink by the barrel and paper by the ton, and I'm going to bury you, Gutierrez," that's what they did. They're trying to do.
Unlimited paper, unlimited ink. Yeah. But anyway, we're close to the top of the hour. Final words. Not final words, but until the next time.
Yeah, because I really, ladies and gentlemen, this is such an important election. We cannot look at the best advertisement, the best "I'm in" or "I'm out" or whatever it is kind of thing. You got to look at a dire situation that requires somebody that knows the landscape, has been there to be able to have the plans ready in place to extricate us from this financial mess. We cannot have learners to go in there first and not sure what they're going to do, and be driven by staff people who do not, if they're not the ones running, you've got to be the leader. And I'm saying that I've been there, and I told the Chamber of Commerce, if you want somebody to hire for that job, and I'm asking the people to go on, hire me to be your governor. And I'm going to immerse myself and my wife and Fred and his wife fully, because the only business we have is you, the people of Guam, and that I'm going to be successful again in making sure that the plans we put in place, that to include the community in setting a vision for our island, so that when I ask you to follow me, you are part of where we're heading, and so you know where we're heading to. We just cannot say, let's go in the right direction, and you don't know where that direction is. So I'm saying that you got to know where your leader is leading you so you can follow, but don't just guess that they give you the word that they're the right one. So I'm saying be careful that you don't elect, because they have more money than us in this campaign, to get a conflicted person in there that has the multi-billion-dollar business to be able to say that that they are for the people of Guam. They will be conflicted, as it was in the past. Don't bank on it. Believe me.
Anthony Perez, Governor, I have followed you since back the day when Dizon was also running, because you're still the one.
Who's that?
Anthony Perez.
Thanks, Anthony.
Perez, but
you see, that was part of the seed planting about me being able to run for governor. Is that correct? That was no.
There you go, Gov. Thank you. Thank you very much again. My studio guest, of course, Governor Carl P.C. Gutierrez. We'll be back tomorrow morning, and I promise you we'll be more freaking out. Maybe they'll try to get you again.
The sooner the better, because and also Fred. Fred has a great idea. Fred is a good grant writer, and we want him to tell the people how we can get more money in.
There we go. Again, share this page with friends and relatives. We're going to archive this. We're going to try to get this in the YouTube channel as well right away. But share this page with your friends and relatives. Again, our page, There's Medallion 2018. We're going to archive it. We've got record views this morning, but thank you very much. God bless you all, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow morning. On behalf of course, the There's Medallion campaign, I'm Jess Luan, the Guam Buzz, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Adios. We're out. Love you. Peace.
Thank you.